Hey, what if I told you there's one simple technique that can cut out pretty much any bad habit you have? And this technique does not rely on grit or willpower. It relies on a tiny shift in how your brain works. If you want to silence the voice that says just one more time and end the endless cycles of self-sabotage, keep listening. Because I'm going to walk you through how you literally rewire your brain, replace old habits, and build new ones that actually serve your goals. Because here's what most people do wrong. They see a bad habit and they try and fight it. They try to bury it under shame or guilt. They try to willpower themselves into change, and sometimes it works. For a week, maybe two, but then something happens. Stress, boredom, tiredness, and suddenly you're right back at the same old loop. You feel powerless, frustrated, and you beat yourself up. This approach is backwards because the secret lies not in fighting habits. The secret lies in understanding how habits form. The secret lies in disruption. The secret lies in awareness and repetition. So let's break down the anatomy of a habit, because habits are not metaphors. Habits are real. They are wired into your brain, and once you see how they work, you gain power over them. And we're habitual beings, so we need to understand how they work. When you first learn a new behavior, say you consciously decide to meditate or go to the gym, your brain uses your prefrontal cortex, and that's the part of your brain that does the thinking, the planning, making decisions, and at first it feels hard. You have to consciously remind yourself. You have to fight resistance. You feel the pain. It feels awkward. Your brain is working hard. But with repetition, something powerful happens. The action becomes less about conscious planning. It becomes automatic. The part of your brain called the basal ganglia, a deep structure that stores routines and habits, it starts to take over. The behavior starts to get wired in. The path is carved out. And once the path is solid, performing that behavior feels effortless. It becomes natural. And your brain no longer needs to think about it. This is how habits become defaults. This is why bad habits feel so sticky, because the brain prefers efficiency. It wants to conserve energy. It wants to automate. That way you can operate on autopilot. And about 90% of what you do each day is on autopilot. Habits doing the heavy lifting for you. Here is the problem. Once a bad habit is wired in, trying to override it with conscious willpower is like trying to change lanes on a superhighway while still in autopilot. It rarely works because autopilot, the basal ganglia, already has its route mapped out. But there is hope because the brain is plastic. The neural pathways can be reshaped. They're malleable. You can build new lanes, you can forge new habits, and you can disrupt the old ones. The first step is awareness. You must become a detective. Notice the triggers, because every habit starts with a cue. It could be that time of day, the environment, specific emotional state, a preceding event, or even certain people or social contexts. Habits follow the cue, the craving, the response, and they reward the loop. Over time, this loop strengthens until it fires automatically without thought. If you want to break a bad habit, pay attention. What comes right before the unwanted behavior is the boredom, the stress, the anxiety, a specific location, a time of day, a certain action you did. That is your first clue. Awareness gives you the control. Without awareness, you remain trapped. Once you find the cue, you don't fight it. Instead, disrupt it. Remove the friction or swap. Instead of the old habitual response, plan a new behavior, one that works for you this time, one that gives your brain a satisfying reward too. Because if you just remove the old routine without offering something in return, the brain will crave the old reward. For example, maybe stress makes you reach for junk food or mindless scrolling. Instead, when you feel stressed, choose to go for a short walk. Do some deep breathing, or jot down a thought or thoughts in a journal. The key is give your brain something, reward it, a sense of relief, calm, clarity. Over time, the old habit loop will weaken and the new one will grow stronger. But replacement alone isn't enough. You need repetition. You need to practice the new behavior in the same context over and over. Same cue, same environment, same emotional state. Because every time you repeat it, you're strengthening the new neural pathways. You are reprogramming your autopilot. This is not a 1 week thing or a 21-day magic window. It takes weeks or months, but consistency always wins. Habits form when you expose the same cue and reward it again and again and again. Okay, let's now talk about disruption. Disruption might sound aggressive, harsh, confrontational, but disruption is simply just conscious interruption. It is being aware enough to say, not this time. It is recognizing the old habit loops that run in the background. And it is the intentional rewiring of the autopilot. If you want to go deeper, if you want me to guide you step by step through your own mental loops and help you rebuild from scratch, I created a full disruption program. Inside the program, I dive into dozens of examples. I help you map out your triggers. I teach you how to engineer new routines. I guide you through habit stacking. I help you program replacement rewards that feed your long-term growth instead of immediate comfort. If you're ready to stop reacting and start designing your life, you can find the link in my description. And in the meantime, if you want to get started tonight, here is a simple one-step drill. Pause before your next habitual action. Take a second. Take a breath. And as soon as that urge hits, take one more deep breath. And then ask yourself, what triggered this? Then choose a different action, a better action, one that aligns with your values and who the person that you wish to be. And it does not have to be big, it just needs to be different. And if you need to do it again, do it tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. Each time you choose a new path, you weaken that old one and you strengthen the new. Each time you choose awareness over autopilot, you gain power over your decisions. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you take one step forward toward the person that you would love to become. Habits shape your identity shapes your future, and if you want to change your future, you must change your habits. And if you want to change your habits, you must understand the anatomy, the cues, the loop, and the reward, and you must commit to disruption. If you're serious about leveling up in your mind, breaking bad habits, and building a lifestyle that serves your highest potential, consider hopping in my program. I break down every mechanism. I help you build custom rewiring plans. I walk you from destruction to creation, from autopilot to self-mastery. Click the link in the description below and let's get started. But if you start now and if you commit to small changes tonight, you can already begin rewiring. You can already begin shaping your destiny. Here is to disruption. Here is to growth. Here is to becoming the strongest, smartest, most unstoppable version of yourself. Peace.